Yeah, Pukey Pete is in the house. And today we're going to be asking the deep, eternal question that I think everybody has had to ask themselves and they've had to ask others. And that is, have you ever seen Robocop? Be sure to stop by the comments and drop a comment. Don't forget to like. You always got to pull out one of them likes for me. Give me the thumb. Give me a couple of well, anyways, don't forget to smash that like, drop a comment. I got a guest today on screen who will be talking. Well, he'll just be talking with audio, but he'll be on screen with me. And we're going to be asking the deep questions of the day. Have you ever seen Robocop? And if you've seen Robocop, let us know in the comments. What's your favorite scene? Do you prefer the cartoon? Do you prefer the sequels or maybe the TV series? Or do you prefer that KFC commercial they made in Japan? Did you ever see that? Did you ever see Robocop? All these questions and more answered today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and have my guest added onto the screen here. Today we have, what's your name, sir?
Hey, this is Mike Wood.
Hey, are you Robocop?
I am, in fact.
It looks like. I'm pretty. I should have put a Robocop outfit on for this stream, just so people wouldn't be sure who I guess they'd probably confuse me with the melting guy.
Yeah, I was actually watching Robocop last night.
Yeah, I was watching Robocop last night myself. Well, I wasn't just watching it. I was also ruining it.
That's right. That's yeah.
That's for,
pretty spectacular.
Yeah, that's for later this summer. I'm working on a project. Mike was watching it himself at his house, but for me, I was watching it, but I was also editing it on my computer, ruining a classic film for a later showing for the patrons of Horrible Home Video. I'm announcing that now. One time, I won't bring it up again, but we'll have something. We'll have something up there. So, Mike, what would you say? What it is about RoboCop that makes it so great to you?
Oh, dude, I mean, it's like one of the definitive movies of the '80s. You know, it's got gore in it, which I enjoy.
RoboCop Jesus. I mean, Robot Jesus.
Yeah, it's got Red Foreman playing Clarence Boddicker. It's like one of the greatest villains I think I've seen in a movie ever. The Melt Man.
Absolutely one of the hardest villains in the world, Clarence Boddicker, played by Red Foreman.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's his real name, too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Melt Man, the dude that gets all the...
I think that's the first time I saw somebody melt on screen, and I think that's where my love for melted creatures came from.
Well, and it's like that version of somebody melting is like genuinely like disturbing. Like, it's not even funny.
I feel like it definitely was a true representation of what would happen to a human being if they were dipped in a nuclear waste. It wouldn't go quite Ninja Turtle style for them. It's not like you're going to become part cat.
Right.
I was petting my cat before I attacked a cop, and then, this mutagen got on me. Now I'm part cat.
Well, and I like that there's such a hard difference between the R-rated cut and the director's cut. The director's cut is insane. Just that extra 10 seconds.
I was going to say, tell me, because the only differences I noticed is I think you could see RoboCop getting obliterated as a human.
Yeah, so...
his hand shut off, and then the Ed 209 scene, right, with the conference room.
Right. During the ED 209, he gets blown away. And it's a lot more graphic. And then during the sequence when he gets shot and when he gets killed, Murphy is a lot gorier.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gives you more of an impact of what is happening to this character.
And most notable too is the shot at his hand after he gets shot,
blown completely clean off.
Right.
And I think it makes you more sympathetic for his character when you realize what he lost besides his body parts, but he also lost his family, his loved ones, his whole entire life.
Yeah, I mean, and then part 2 was good. Part 3 was a total fail. Part 3, I hated it.
I can't really recall if I can't remember anything about part 3, but I know part 2 had some really good elements to it.
Like, did you ever watch any of the TV shows?
I've seen, what was it, Dark Operative or Meltdown or something like that.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but it's like where RoboCop goes like evil.
It was called. I think you're right. I think it was Meltdown or something like that.
Meltdown or Dark Operative, or I forget. I remember seeing the cassette tapes in like Hollywood Video. I just want to give a shout out to everybody in here, by the way. Shout out to Glenn, Richard Allison, Bootleg. We got Mickey Martin. He says smash that like button. Ian Swartwood, Jables. I believe you might be new here, Jables. Oh no, I know Chainbangers. Okay, I know who you are. You threw me off with the Jables. I don't know that part. He says Jables. It rhymes with tables. Got Zulubotomy. He can't see Pukey's little butt. Hold on. Let me put it on screen for you. There you go. You always got to please the audience. I'm going to be going live in a little bit with Zulubotomy and Bootleg on their podcast, on their live stream. Shout out Glenn. You got the COVID. I just got over that myself. It's terrible. Shout out to Super Fandom Fake Time Friends, says Zulo. And then Rotten Remix Records says he smashed that like. Hey, shout out Rotten. What up, Tone? So anyhow, we'll stop every now and then and try to shout everybody out. But for the sake of having a conversation, I think we'll take little breaks for that. So that way you guys don't feel like you're being ignored. We're not looking over you. It's trying to just create some content. First time having it. Now, oh man, it's gonna be a couple days until you start to get into the clear. Until you start to get like, okay, I find relief. For me, when I had it last time, the headache lasted about 3 days, and I wanted to. You ever seen what is it? Return of the Fly, or is it the first Fly? The old school one with Vincent Price, where they smashed the fly's head in like a trash compactor, like a baler.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do when I had COVID. I wanted to put my head in like a cardboard baler and just press that button and just to get rid of the pressure of the headache. So.
Yeah, when I had that, it was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, I could barely walk like 20 feet without feeling like I was just going to keel over.
Yeah, that's never a good time.
No.
Oh, and just a heads up too for Bootleg and Zulubotomy's stream over on Super Fandom Fake Time. I have a special outfit that I had created just for their stream. And so if you guys want to see what that looks like, be sure to stop by there. They'll drop that information in the comments for me. I think I'll ask them nicely to do that, and we'll get that on screen. Oh, hey, look, and John. Every time I see John's last name, I wanna go Gublo, boom, 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 swing, swing, swing. Okay, just kidding. Anyways, let's get back into this conversation about the Robocop.
So here's a question: though. Which one did you like more? Was it Robocop or Terminator?
Oh, that's for overall story, probably Robocop. But if I want really awesome 80s synthwave terror, the first Terminator.
Oh man, the first Terminator is like a horror movie, dude.
It is. It is terrible. Think about it. Put yourself in the shoes of Sarah Connor. This machine from the future has come back to end your life. Now, you tell me that's not scary. And it will stop at nothing, and it'll kill anybody with your name. That was a horror movie. But a lot of people would just go, no, it's action. No, that's horror. Put yourself in that position. It's also sci-fi, horror, action. It's a little bit of everything, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's some comedy in it. It's not as heavy-handed as like Freddy Krueger's comedy, but there's comedy as well.
Freddy Krueger was always he was like the cool bad guy. Like he's gonna come and rip you to pieces. Like he's gonna show up with a boombox when he does it.
Oh, real quick, we got Cody Brown says, "What's up? I thought you guys were going live at 8 p.m. It's only 6. That's because we'll be going live on another channel at 8 o'clock on the East Coast. That's 7 o'clock in Texas, and I don't know what 5 probably in California. I'm not sure what the time workout is.
Yeah, it's 2 hours. 2 hours behind.
So, about Freddy. Well, let's go ahead. Who would win in a fight to the death between Terminator and Robocop? Terminator, probably, because he has no human element to him, whereas Robocop does.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, eventually, Robocop can be destroyed, whereas Terminator's.
That's what I'm thinking. And look, am I going to say one is better than the other? Not at all. I just think that between the two, in my opinion, probably Terminator. would win that fight, but also you can never call something like that, and because it could go either way. Probably it just depends on how cunning RoboCop is.
Yep.
Oh, look at that! Zilobotomy is doing two giveaways tonight on his show with Bootleg and John. Um, so don't be a rectangle, be a square, and be there.
If I'm not mistaken, I think there was actually a comic series in the '90s. It was like
It
a
sounds.
RoboCop
I
vs
know that's something
Terminator.
that crossed my mind too. I was like, is that a comic? And I think it is.
I know
And
there
I'm
was a
sure.
video game.
But think about it like this: if they make a comic or a video game, who do you think they're going to make the winner? They're going to make it RoboCop because he's got a little human and he's got the redeeming quality.
Ah, true, true. That's a good point. Yeah.
And you know they can't. I mean, especially back in the day, they're not going to let evil win. Yeah, sometimes, but very rarely.
Yeah, I mean, they've done Aliens versus Predator to death. I would love to see like Terminator versus RoboCop become like a movie, like a big budget
Oh my
movie.
god, I would be. I would. That's probably get me into the cinema right there.
For sure, for sure.
It takes a lot to make me go. I got to go to a movie. I got to go see a movie in a room full of people who stink and make noises while I watch the movie. That's the movie that would make me go and sit down and smell other people's butts in the air. I'm just gonna keep it real. Movie theaters are such a dated concept. Like, think about it. You go sit in a room full of people, expose yourself to any airborne illnesses or smells of feces or armpits, and then they're crinkling cellophane.
Yeah, and you get to pay like $100 to do it.
Yeah, right. Nowadays. Glenn says, y'all ever seen Dark Man? One of his favorite movies of our time. I love part one.
Yep.
Part two is okay. Part three is trash. But part one is where it's at. But that's because it's a Sam Raimi movie. You can't go wrong with Sam Raimi at the helm. He didn't do the second and third one. The same guy who did part two did part three. I forget his name. But that first one, that's Sam Raimi.
That first one's great. I love. It has Larry Drake in it. Larry Drake is
It's
one
just
of my favorite actors.
amazing production from start to beginning. I mean, from start to end. You press start and it begins. So yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The game. There was a video game. The RoboCop against Terminator. RoboCop versus Terminator.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds familiar, and I remember like hearing of something of that sort. There's so many like versus comic books too, but I mean, the game I thought sounded familiar, but I didn't. I can't say I ever played that one because I'm gonna tell you right now, all the Terminator games I played as a kid and all the RoboCop games I played as a kid were on Nintendo, and they were terrible. The only time I remember liking a Terminator or RoboCop game was in an arcade.
I was gonna say you never played the arcade with the guns.
You know I did, and I loved
so
it.
dope.
But that's not the same as the home experience where you play RoboCop or I forget. I'm almost positive there was a Terminator game. Yeah, there is because you play Arnold. You play as Arnold, and it's terrible. It's just like the RoboCop game.
Remember, what was it Generation X? I think it was called the Aerosmith game. It was like the Terminator game, but you would shoot discs.
Oh yeah. Someone says it's disappointing. They're both in separate MK games. I thought they were both in the same.
I thought they were. I'm pretty sure that they are.
A buddy of mine sent me a link the other night showing like them fighting in a Mortal Kombat game. So I thought that was a real thing. Maybe it was fan made.
I really thought that they were because I know one of the Mortal Kombat games they had like 70 characters or something. They roll out a bunch of horror movie characters, and I thought RoboCop and Terminator were in there.
Now we need a Darkman game. Well, I mean a new one. Hey, shout out to Donut Factory's in the house, and he says that game was dope. I'm not sure which one he's talking about, but we're gonna assume it's the arcade Terminator one because that game was dope. Oh, here we go. My mom said that's actually how Aerosmith concerts were smashing bombs. Yeah, and then they would sit around eating the rich and make love in an elevator. That's the whole concert. You're like, hey, you see that? There's Mr. Tyler there going up and down in the elevator, just banging out people. What a concert! Let's throw some bottles.
That game, Area 51, that was a great game. At least compare that with Maximum Force, I think.
I feel like I'd have to see that one to jog my memory. You know what I did play? The last game I was impressed with, like as not a child, as an adult, and like I saw it in the arcade. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go spend $5 to play this or $6. It was some stupid amount. It was in Santa Cruz of California, and it was some 4D game, is what it was calling itself. It had like VR goggles, and it was like you're riding on this thing, and it like moved you around and sprayed mist at you, and you shot zombies or something. This thing was crazy. At one point, it smelled like one of the zombies farted on me. It turned out I'd farted on myself, but it was a very enthralling, very captivating game. I'll have to find out what the name of that one was. It was good.
I remember there was this the mall in the town where I grew up had this kind of like virtual reality thing, and you'd sit in it. It was like a big chamber that would move around from side to side and go up and down. It was a roller coaster ride, basically. I wish
Mm.
we'd had a zombie shooting experience. That sounds pretty dope.
Yeah, yeah. Just add some shooting, and now you gotta. Also, the misters. MK11. I don't know why I thought Terminator was in 9 or 10. Yeah, yeah. See, that's what I thought. They were both in the same game. Shout out to Rick Pfeiffer, by the way. What's going on?
I'll be right back. Give me one sec.
Yeah, absolutely. Glenn says the Bruce Campbell cameo at the end of Darkman. I loved that as a kid. Also, Bruce popped up at the end of a couple movies that I loved. The other one was Intruder. That was a good one too. Wesley Brayer says, "Ew, what the f is this?" Well, Wesley, this is actually your intervention. We wanted to have a word with you about your heroin addiction, and we wanted to tell you that maybe you might want to consider finding the Lord. Hmm. Who's Mike Wood? Says Zulabotomy. Well, I'll let Mike answer that when he gets back. Y'all just talking about games? Well, actually, we were originally talking about Robocop, and then that led us onto the conversation of games because of Robocop games, for instance. For those of you who don't know, and I should have rendered a copy of it to show you, but I was working on an edit of Robocop where I added in all the cutscenes, all the stuff they took out of the movie, and then also some other stuff that fans had made. But then I started turning it into an hour and 50-minute YouTube poop. So it's Robocop ruined by me, and it's called "Have You Ever Seen Robocop?" And it's completely been corrupted and damaged and ruined, and it is hilarious. Um, it's just something I do like 30, 40 minutes before bed or something. I just edit a little bit of the movie, and later this summer we're gonna air it on Discord for everybody in the Patreon. 80s and 90s was a fun time to be young, says Bootleg. You were born in 1989, I bet. Get out of here with that. Get out of here. Uh, love you, buddy, says Wesley Breyer. I don't have emotions, Wesley. I'm very masculine. Oh, X. Well, okay, the intervention is over. We can all go home, guys. Yeah, stop cursing, Wesley, says Zulabami. By the way, I'll be over on the Horde cast with a super fandom fake time friends, and I don't care how much they curse on their stream. On mine, we just try to keep the cursing to a minimum. It still is gonna slip. This is because I am trying to get a partnership with YouTube for this channel eventually. I don't expect it to happen anytime in the next month or two, but by the end of the year, I would like some big things to come of it. And the only way to do that is to make sure the content isn't. It doesn't have to be wholesome by any means. It just shouldn't be too explicit. Yeah, no, I figured. Zulabotomy. I kind of had an idea that you were just joking around. 12 Monkeys. I'm gonna bring that up to Mike. I'm gonna play it serious. Hopefully he can't hear this. 1981. Look at you, you old spring chicken. You're about to turn 42. Happy birthday whenever that happens. Oh, it just happened? So you probably just turned 41 because you just had your birthday, right? I'm very bad about birthdays too. So when I do remember a birthday, you have to like write that down on a piece of paper and remember it for when I forget the next one. Mm. Sorry, I had to sneak a Ritz cracker and some water. The live streamer's diet. Rick says Mike went off screen to drop a deuce. You're probably not too far off from the truth. I kind of had it figured out. Let's see here. I wish I had this. So for those of you who aren't patrons, I'm sorry you're gonna miss our. This is the end all extravaganza to RoboCop. It's just the. Oh God, I wonder if I could screen share it.
What up?
Yeah. Can I screen? Do you think I should? Do you think I would catch a copyright strike if I?
Um, with the you're talking about the edit.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Maybe if I turn the volume, but then again, there's no joke if I turn the volume off.
right. Well, I mean, it's an edit, so I mean, it's not like you're actually broadcasting.
Yeah, no, I'll put it small on the screen. We'll see it happens. Hopefully, because I already got a warning on my page. I'm trying to avoid anything further. But this will be the one time I mention this. I'm not bringing it up again until it's time. Rick wants to know if you wiped from back to front. And also, Wesley was asking if you've ever seen the director's cut, The 12 Monkeys.
You know, actually, I've never actually watched 12 Monkeys. It's
Wow.
just, yeah. And it was a huge movie when it came out. It's just one that's kind of slipped through the cracks for me.
Oh, it was good. It's a good movie.
Bruce Willis is in it, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah, he's one of my favorites. The director's cut is called 13 Monkeys. There's an extra monkey. They had to cut him out for time.
No, I've actually never sat down to watch that. And
You should, but I feel like it's also kind of I don't know if it's aged very well. Yeah, Rick says I should probably kick you off the stream. I'm gonna give him that. So Mike, go get wrecked. No. Anyways, oh yeah, let's see if I can pull this up real quick. Guys, if for some reason I catch a strike for this, I'm suing each one of you individually in court and blaming you.
so back to front is the flavors. That's disgusting.
All right, so here we go. All right, let's see if I can screen share this maybe, and if I can, I'll show you guys a little bit of my edit of RoboCop. It's called "Have You Seen RoboCop?" and it's basically just a YouTube poop of RoboCop. Share screen. Is it gonna let me pick? It is. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna allow it on screen. Let's see if I can. There it is. So I'm gonna make it smaller if possible. Mike is still with us, but I'm just going to go ahead and have this on screen real quick. And let me know if the audio is all right for you guys. But you're going to have to bear with me here, guys. It's just loud toilet flushing. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. This is one of the best scenes in the movie. Oh, yeah. Where he's talking about name calling. Oh, can you guys not hear it? Oh, it's not doing the audio. Oh, you missed out. You missed out. You're missing out. I don't know why it does that. So I guess I'll just add Mike back in here, and we're just gonna get this off screen. I guess it wasn't doing the audio, Mike.
Man, that's a shame.
That is it's probably a good thing because then I didn't catch any issues. But here, let me go ahead and show them. I guess I could show some of the there is a few visual gags worth sharing. This was good though. This was good. I wish y'all could have seen it because he said I called the old man names, Iron Butt, Boner, and then he goes, once I even called him Boner Butt, and it edits the heads in from the two. Let's see here. It was good though. I wish that could have been heard. The overextended death scene. But look, you didn't see this part. Check this out. After he's been shot completely to nothing, watch this. As if he could just get up and walk away from that. Oh, I love it. Let's see here. Some of it is very lowbrow and just immature. Where is it? Oh yeah, there it is. Watch this. I guess it's just on screen, isn't it? So yeah, let's go ahead and play that real quick. And so real quick, Wesley says, remember that time Robocop shot that guy in the crotch? Well, you're gonna have to watch this version because he shoots like 30 guys in the crotch in this version. 30 different guys. Oh yeah, so here's a gag that is worth sharing. You see on screen, Murphy is roughing up her suspect. It's just, it's a lot of stupid editing, um, adding things. I wish the sound was here because a lot of it is sound effects, but there's some visual gags going on. I'm gonna go ahead and close that. But anyways, yeah. So
it'd be great if the audio was there. Show the 8209 on the stairs.
It's probably the saving grace there was no audio, so it's probably a good thing the audio did not pop up. But what is this? What about in the Escape from New York, where the dude calls him Pliskin and he says the name Snake, but in Escape from LA he says the opposite? Oh, that's great. It's probably just to be a jerk. I don't think that's a mistake. That's probably just him trolling. But there's a lot of stuff like Ed 209 falls down the stairwell, and then you hear like cartoon sound effects and a car alarm going off. And the way it's edited is really good because as Robocop's closing the door behind him, it all fades off nice. It's really well done for how terrible it was. Oh, I see here. It was intentional. Here, by the way, guys, that's the YouTube channel I believe you need to go and check out to see me live over on their channel. I think in about an hour. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I'll be over there. Kind of a slow going night tonight. It is Friday after all. So hopefully the viewers are good over there because it's looking a little sparse in the arse.
In general, this weekend's probably going to be bad for streaming with
what's going on this weekend? Is it a Super Bowl?
Yeah, Super Bowl.
The second you said this weekend's going to be slow, I was like, what is it? What am I competing against? Weird commercials and football?
Yep.
Well, there you have it. God have mercy. How do you time travel between places? I have a machine. It's called a dumpster, and it has a flux capacitor. That's another one I was watching the other night. Was Back to the Future, the first one. I love part 2, but I never watch just part 2. I always watch part 1 and then part 2, and then I just pretend part 3 doesn't exist.
You don't like part 3, yeah?
I don't like movies where they send you back to the past where it's dirty and there's no running water and everybody probably smells like armpits and butts. Otherwise, I would just go to a movie theater. And like Army of Darkness, good concept, but they took out all the gore and they upped up all the comedy. I'm not a fan of that movie. It's got moments. I mean, I got nostalgia for watching it as like a kid, but it's all about part 2. And it's just like with, hey, your tongue is blue. Did you swallow a Smurf? No, I didn't swallow a Smurf, but I didn't spit it out either, if you know what I'm saying. That's an innuendo, stir crazy. But bro, Wild Wild West was the heyday of westerns. I've never seen that one. Isn't that Will Smith?
That's Will Smith.
Yeah, that's why I didn't see it. Wild Wild West. I remember the song Wild Wild West. I remember they kept, and is there a big wooden spider in it?
Yeah.
So I heard a story. I think it was Kevin Smith was saying how like they were trying to do a Superman movie and it was going to end with like a giant mechanical spider, and the director got booted off of it. And then he went on to make Wild Wild West, where there's a giant wooden mechanical spider. So
man, back in the '90s, dude, Will Smith was dominating. He had that, and then Men in Black. But I was never really a fan of any of his movies.
Oh, I did love Men in Black 1 and 2. I don't quite remember 3 off top. It's probably fine. If it takes place in the past, like most part 3s do, then I probably don't like it.
I
Did it take
remember.
place in the past? Is that the one where they go back in the past and he has to find the agent when he's younger to find his older self? That's part three, isn't it?
Yeah, see, I don't know. That's
What somebody out there correct me, but what is it about part threes in movies going into the like further into the past? Like with Back to the Future, it's all going into the past, but Bad
Bad
Boys. Never
Boys.
seen it. Never seen it. I love you know, Martin Lawrence. I used to watch Martin all the time,
That was a
but
great show.
yeah, it was a hilarious show. It was a great time for Fox Television too. How do you feel about tater tots with my hands and my mouth because it's food? So I just kind of blindly reach around in the garbage bag and find some tater tots and eat them if they're thrown in the dumpster. Wesley says because they used the good ideas on the first two. They use most movies use the best ideas in the second one, except for Terminator. Terminator 2 is not the superior Terminator, and most people will argue with me on that. Oh, that's the better movie. No, that's the action sci-fi movie with comedy. Let's take it back to the first one. You got some horror. You got some horror. But
What about
part two is, don't get me wrong, it's good. It's just not better than part one.
Ghostbusters too?
Not the superior one at all, actually.
Man, I loved it. I thought it was great.
As a kid, I remember loving it more than part one. I go back and watch them again. Part one is the superior one, but part two had some good stuff to it. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of good laughs, a lot of good special effects too. The slime, the river of slime.
Oh yeah, when he's dangling and slime. Yeah, that used to freak me out. What actually used to it really used to give me the creeps was the scene with the bathtub where the bathtub like tries to eat Oscar and Dana.
Yeah,
Dude, that scared the crap out of me when I was a kid.
trying to remember that scene. I don't quite remember that part.
And then Vigo, like Vigo in general, used to freak
Go.
me out, dude.
The painting. I
Yeah,
remember like the isn't that the one with the Scolari brothers or something like that?
the Scolari brothers. Yeah.
Scolari. Okay, it was close. I haven't seen the movies in a while. What is this noise you're making? Are you playing a piano?
No, somebody, man, my phone is going off. Hold up.
Oh, okay, I get it. You're popular. Now we know. Now we know that Mike Wood is popular, guys. So do me a favor and blow up his phone.
God no.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a fan of that either.
There we
Um,
go.
for me, I prefer to turn a deaf ear to my phone. Unless it's like my mother or somebody in my direct immediate household, I don't really want to hear from too many people. There's some I don't mind hearing from, but for the most part, we beg of thee for Pukey Pete merch, says Kristen. We'll have some. We'll also have some for Here's merchandise and some gnomes merch. I would really love to get some gnome plushies made. I feel like that would be where it's at. Jake
Ooh,
wants
that
to know
would be
your number,
killer.
so I'm gonna put your phone number on the screen just for
Nah.
Jake Lassen here. Ready? There it is. It's this is his phone number, so give him a call. And I don't know what kind of content his phone has on it, but there's like why it's got words. Did you pay for that? You paid for that, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Is that like a vanity plate for phone numbers?
Yeah, exactly.
If it was mine, I would have to censor it to 555 eat butt.
I wonder how do people actually get phone numbers like with words in them? Is it,
You have to ask for them and pay for them, I
huh.
think.
Can you imagine? Hey, what's your phone number? 555 eat ass.
Oh, well, I'll be calling you later. Why? Why? Why will you be calling me later? I need to know. Because your number, it's a joke. What's the joke? Explain it to me. That's what I would do. I would make it as awkward as possible. What do you mean? Oh, you're saying you want that from me? Okay, meet me behind the Wendy's. I'll be in the dumpster because I'm Pukey Pete. Shout out to Mike Modell. Jake Lassen loves that number. He said he calls it every Wednesday. Thank, thank the Lord it's Friday, or he'd be calling you right now. Shout out to Chris G in the house. What's up, Chris G? Chris
What
G
was it
says,
back in the
lol.
day on the Tom Green show? He gave away Glenn Humplick's phone number on a live stream.
Oh my goodness. I used to watch the MTV show a
Yeah,
bit.
that was the one. It was on one of
He
those.
did it on MTV?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
because like the way that they would film that show was in the corner office where they did the TRL, and while the show was live, he was revealing it number by number, facing out the window into Times Square.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the way around it, huh? Probably with that. Adam Northrup, shout out, says, I already have Pukey Pete merch. He has a T-shirt that says Pukey Pete. We're gonna get some more stuff going. I wouldn't mind getting, you know, maybe like a really metal style T-shirt, like metal band shirts of Pukey Pete in a dumpster with like guns, fire behind them,
That would be
dumpster
dope.
fire. Yeah, just something really over the top and stupid. And that's how I would do it if we're gonna do like a really nice Pukey Pete shirt. Spend a few $100 on the art for an artist that's better than me. What do we got here? What up, Christy? Twisted Ninja Juggalo says, you. Oh, I think that's yo. Crystalline Deneve says, metal band Pukey Pete. Absolutely. And I mean, that's the way to do it. And I'll probably also get some gnomes worked in there and a couple mice. Uh oh. Jesse Crazy. Okay, so Jared says, Jesse Crazy. Any Smurf that comes down the alley and has some cash. That's right. That's why my tongue's blue. From you can just ask the Smurfs what does mouth do. Uh, Obviously these are jokes, so if anybody gets offended by jokes, kindly subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, exactly. If you jokes, subscribe.
Do it. Do it.
And we got the place for you.
Have we got the channel for you? It's Horrible Home Video. Justin Chapman says hello, and he's look at these emojis. This is very creative. He's got a little pumpkin fella throwing up the metal hand sign, or maybe it's a suggestive shocker fingers. I'm not sure.
So he's a fan of Pumpkinhead.
Oh yeah, there you have it. That's a classic movie too. Just the general atmosphere of that movie.
Man, did you ever see the cardboard cutout they would put in video stores for that thing? It was like 6 feet tall, and it was just the cover of the movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if we probably had that. There was a time where like my mother had bought out a bunch of mom and pop shops for their posters, their cutouts, movies. We don't have any of that stuff anymore. This was in the late '80s, '89, and early '90. We had all this stuff, but not everything. I'm not gonna sit here and be like we had everything. We didn't.
Right.
Oh, that's a good question, Mike. I'm gonna answer you in 1 second there. But we had a lot of stuff. I do remember the Pumpkinhead one. I don't know if we had that one per se. I do know I had like posters for just about every mainstream horror movie you could think of. And when I say mainstream, I mean like big studio, like Fright Night, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Mike, he wants to know what your favorite Guar song is too, Mike.
Oh, man, that's kind of difficult. I like a lot of gore. Currently, I've been fixated on the one about the fish.
Yeah, right. That's very relative to the times. How about this? Make it easier. What's your favorite Guar album?
Oh man,
what? You don't know? Oh my goodness! All right, I'll let you think about that. For me, I think it's This Toilet Earth. Probably my favorite. It's the second album of theirs I heard when I was a kid. First one I heard was America Must Be Destroyed. I heard that because of Beavis and Butthead. I was one of those kids who found them through Beavis and Butthead. And This Toilet Earth is the one that cemented me as a fan. America Must Be Destroyed, very good album, but I just don't feel it was as refined and as clean and well produced. And also just the content was shocking on both albums. But to me, it was like This Toilet Earth was like, wow, this is the band. I like these guys. And favorite song, I like too many off of that album. Probably Eat Steel comes to mind, or Fight, or The Issue of Tissue, or even Pocket Pool. I mean, that album is just good. The censored one, because the one I had a cut song. I always wondered about that for a long time. Like, why'd they cut this song? I found out why, and I'm glad they did. I don't want that song. But also, interestingly enough, I just got into the last album that Dave Brockie was the front man on. I I forget the name off top. It's the blue one with like ice and blood on it. Um, oh, what's it called? I'm gonna have to look that up now. I actually have just recently got into that one. I've seen them play that album live, but I didn't. I never heard. Every time I saw Guar live, they always played their newest album, and I didn't have it yet. And that was one that I'd heard it. Oh, okay. So let's see here. Ragnarok is great. The new Dark Ages, that's the newest one that I'd bought. I didn't really get into that. We Kill Everything is a great album. That's got Fish Fuck on there. Carnival Chaos was good. War Party's okay. Violence Has Arrived is okay. Awesome, awesome cover. Less in Space, okay. What's the one? There it is. Battle Maximus. I got into that one recently. It's not bad. So, what would you say, Mike? Favorite Guar album? Oh, I think Mike has had a heart attack on live stream. So, we're going to say a few words and share our condolences for the loss of Mike Wood today. This live stream has become a death stream, apparently. And I just wanted to say, we're going to miss you, sir. And, yep, it was a pleasure knowing you. One time we
All right.
fought. Oh, you're alive. Oh, you scared me.
Yeah, no, sorry, I had something
How
going
was the
on.
afterlife?
Oh, terrible.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're alive again.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. It's really hard for me to pick favorite albums from bands because I'll cycle through. I might like,
So
this
you're
album.
you're a poser, is what you're saying?
Yeah, sure,
Oh,
sure.
good, awesome. No, no, I get it because I'm the same way too. Is you don't always want to say this is the one album, but for me, I will say the most significant album for Guar for me and for my own reasons was This Toilet Earth, only because it solidified me as a Guar fan. It made me go, "This is it. I love these guys."
What was one that
Nice.
had was it Salamanize or was it Scumdogs of the Universe? I think it was.
I believe that was Scumdogs. Yeah, Ashley Alley, Ashley Alley says that making Love Cow is fun. I'm not. I'm just kidding. What song is that? What album is that off of? I'm gonna say it's probably We Kill Everything or something or Carnival. No, that's got to
Which
be like
the
2000 War Party or Less
uh,
Than Space.
Carnival of Chaos.
Carnival of Chaos. Oh, that one. Yeah, that was okay. That's a good. That album is not bad. You know what I like more than their albums sometimes is their movies. Um, one of my favorite movies is It's Sleazy, and it was promoting, I believe, what's the one with the drawing of like a? It's We Kill Everything. It was basically a tie-in for that, and it had a bunch of songs on there like Nitro Burning, Funny Bong. The songs aren't the best, but because it's not my favorite album, but they're not bad. Um, but what made that movie so great was it was presented in a Jerry Springer style, and it just very much fit the time. I liked how Guar was like, okay, well, this is the world we're in right now. Let's parody that. They didn't like stick to what worked previously. They just said, let's do something else. And
Have you watched the documentary?
yeah, it was great. I watched it twice. I like it up until Brocky passes away, and then I don't really care much for it. I'm not a fan of current Guar, and I'm
Right.
very vocal about that. I'm not going to lie and be like, I still love Guar. I still love old Guar. So I don't think Michael Bishop as lead is the choice.
Why
I feel like
didn't you? What didn't you like about the documentary?
I didn't like when Brocky died. I wish
Hmm.
they would change that part.
Like, did they? Did they?
It's a
Did
joke, Mike.
they?
It's a joke because he died in real life. You
Well,
can't.
right, right, obviously.
Uh, no, I didn't like that once they mentioned he passed away. They're like, everybody used to say you guys were good until Brocky passed away. And then this is what one of them says is, that's like saying your family was good until your grandma passed away. And I go, that's not the same. That is not the same. Brocky was the glue of the band. He was the
Right,
driving force. He was a big ball of energy that made everything happen the way it happened. And now you're going to get this slow slug of a man who is not as funny. And he's smart. Don't get me wrong. Michael Bishop is talented, but he is not the lead that we need. You know what I mean?
right.
And so It's like getting an old retired dad as the lead for Guar. I mean, and it's not anything to do with being heavy set, which he is, but how much energy is he going to have versus a crackhead? Dave Brockie was a crackhead, you
Right.
know. So, and I'm not saying, hey, oh, smoke crack and all this and that. I'm just saying Dave Brockie was who he was, and he was an artist who paid the price. But god damn, he was brilliant, and you don't replace that so easily, and not with somebody who is not even a fraction of who that was. Michael Bishop as Beefcake, wasn't he Beefcake back in the day?
I believe so.
So as Beefcake, I loved him as Beefcake. I've seen him as Beefcake live, and he was the only one that actually like acknowledged me after the show. I was like, "Hey," and he just looked at me, and they said, "Oh God, Beefcake noticed me. I hope he doesn't become the lead one day after Brocky dies." And then he got his big old styrofoam sword and stabbed me to death. But and fed me to the worm.
Pukey
But
Pete for lead singer of Gwar.
oh yeah, no, I don't have. Maybe 20 years ago, sure. You know, sure, 20 years ago, and it fuel me up with drugs or something. I don't know. Blothar is not only a blowhard, as I call him, is not only awkward. Yeah, it did. See, so the doc was good, but focused on the oddest parts.
Hmm.
Also, they gave a platform to Hunter Jackson, who I love his art. Don't get me wrong. I hate his attitude. That's my complaint about Hunter Jackson. Is he and you know him as Techno Destructo. So he would just be like, "Oh well, he's dead. Ha ha ha! I won." Like that's kind of his attitude, and
Jesus.
I don't think that needed to be worked into the documentary. I mean, it's fair and balanced to let him do that, and I guess you could say that if you live and someone dies, okay, fine. But it paints him out as more bitter than I think we need to see him as, and I'm sure we discover as fans on our own. But do we need that in a documentary? Like
Right.
moments after talking about someone has passed away? I don't think so. So yeah, well,
Yeah, I've
well,
heard. I've heard mixed reviews about it, man. Some people seem to really love it. So other people really don't.
mm, I love it for this. We got a documentary about Gore, and
Right.
I love that. I mean, I'm not exactly getting documentaries about Cypress Hill or Portishead.
Oh man, I
And
would love that.
I'm saying, right? I would love either one of those, but we're not getting that anytime soon. We're not going to
Man, you
get those
imagine a
anytime soon.
documentary about Cypress Hill in the '90s? That would be great.
Oh, I would watch that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I don't, documentaries I could pass on would be like Snoop and Drake. I'm good. You know, I feel like it would be kind of, what's the word? It's just a lot of bullshit. But
Right.
anyways, but Cypress Hill or Portishead, like I said, who else? Guar, we got that, so that's great. Um, there's a lot of artists I would rather watch documentaries on. And actually, thanks to the advent of YouTube, you kind of get that sometimes. I've been watching the other day. I was building a diorama of a bathroom, and with Guar in mind, it looked like a place Guar would hang out. And I was watching these documentaries on like various performers who had like one hit wonders, and from the '90s that I liked, and what became of them. So thanks to YouTube, you get kind of miniature documentaries, even if they're only 10 minutes long. Nobody loves them. It's true. That's why we don't get a Portishead. He put Portilla head. Gorgeous
Tortilla
cover of
head.
West End Girls. Oh, I love the song West End Girls, the original. Awesome song. And Wayward Son, I don't care about the Wayward Son one. I heard that one. I'll have to look into the West End Girls because I love the original West End Girls song.
Pet Shop Boys, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
West
great song.
End Girls.
Do,
It's got
do,
a
do, do,
vibe.
do, 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 do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
If I a couple beers deep, I can listen to 80s music, and somehow West End Girls always in the mix. There's a list of songs that I could listen to. One is a Joe Boxer song called "Just Got Lucky," and it's like an English '80s song. But man, or like what was that Tarzan Boy by what's it called? Oh, what's his name?
Dude,
Who?
I'll get I fall down the wormhole with like '80s synth, '80s dark wave. I love
Oh,
that stuff.
Baltimoria, by the way, that's who it is. Tarzan Boy by Baltimoria. When I was a kid, that song was. You ever hear a song when you're a kid and you're like, "This is magic and it's melting my brain"?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, That's you know what song did that for me first was Safety Dance by Men Without Hats. I was
Right,
I must have been 5 years old, and I remember sitting at the baby gate because my sister was 2 years younger than me, so we had a baby gate because of her. Thanks, sis. And so there I am at the baby gate, and and in my mind, I might as well be at the front barricade of a guar show, right? So there I am, just shaking the baby gate and rocking out to it. We could dance if we want to, and like, and then when at the end, it has this like whole instrumental piece of synthesizers and all this. And my brain was just like, "What is this? This is
right.
magic! I'm tasting magic with my ears." That song was the first one to make me feel like I felt something I'd never felt before. And what's another one? What's love got to do with it? I don't know why that song was. I think
Oh
because the first
man,
first time I heard that, I was opening like my first pack of Garbage Pail Kids.
I liked when I was young. I can remember. You remember the Neverending Story, the theme from that by
Oh, that
Lamal.
was lit. It's lit.
Yes, dude. It's
It
to this
is.
day that comes on, and I get hyped. I love it.
No, that song was lit. And although had I heard it a little bit younger, I think it would have had more of an effect on me. But even when I heard it, by the time I heard it, I was a little bit probably a couple of years older than you, and I was like, "This is dope," but I ain't gonna
Yeah.
tell nobody. I ain't gonna tell nobody I like this, but
Oh
I
yeah.
like this.
Yeah,
It's
and
good.
that isn't even a guilty pleasure for me. I'll put that on and blast it
Well,
loud.
see, by this point, I was already gangbanging in the streets and selling rocks and packing Glocks in my socks
Right, right.
and talking to talk while I walk with the walk that I took to Poland. So Pukey can puke if he wants to. He can leave his lunch behind. And if your lunch don't puke, and if you don't puke, well, I don't know. You could be a friend of mine, maybe. Yeah, we'll have a nice little session about the 80s and 90s sometime. I want to talk about, by the way, I want to talk about sometime toys that I had in the 80s. And we'll get into that another time, but that's something I'm very intrigued to talk about because there's a lot of stuff. I was talking to Grim, rapper from Corpse Circus, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't have that. I didn't have that." Oh, okay. Anyways, sorry, it just got a text from President Washington. He said, four score. And I said, "That's what Lincoln said, you liar." That's why I typed it to him. I said, "You're not really." And then he said, "Lol, these people." What do you mean, these people? Anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna call it a night here. I'm gonna be live in like 30 minutes over on the Super Fandom Fake Time Friends. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, whatever you're on, I'll drop a link to their channel so that you guys can catch that. And we'll be going live in about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna touch base with them, see what's going on. I had a fun time with you being here, by the way, Mike. Thank you for
Yeah,
joining
thanks for
me.
having me on, dude.
It was a pleasure because usually I'm just talking to the screen and waiting for comments. And I'm going to tell you that's the most depressive thing you can do. It is. You just sit there and you're like, "Hello, talk to me," and you start shaking your monitor. "Why aren't you answering me?" And I forgot to press the live button. I've done that a few times. Oh, I didn't. Whoops. And then my computer's a pile of rubble. But anyways, oh yeah, Mike, have you ever seen RoboCop? By the way,
Never, not
oh, you
once.
should. Well, you should definitely check that out sometime, and then we could ridicule you. All right. Well, hey, thanks everybody for stopping by. Smash that like on your way out and drop a comment. Let us know you had a fun time. What was your favorite part of the stream? And we will see you in 30 minutes on another channel if you want to join us. Have a good night, guys.